Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case out of Pima County, Arizona. And they have recently found a grave by two anonymous tips in the Nancy Guthrie case. We're going to go there and look at it and see what's up. Also, YouTubers arrested outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. What is going on? A lot to talk about on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace, smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong, but honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. Shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me stand. Judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth.
Hold up, lights on, chat in the room, another late night and another headline blooming. Coffee gone cold, but the story got heat, and one little detail keep tapping my screen. Coming in clutch when the timeline bends. We don't just scroll, we connect loose ends. Somebody said nah, that's probably enough, but the chat said Justin, we're coming in clutch. Run that back, don't rush that part. Something felt wrong from the very first start. Different day, same shaky excuse, and the math ain't mathin' when we check the proof. I'm not here to play detective for fame. I'm here when the story starts changing names. One clip, one call, one post too much, and the whole room knows we're coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, yeah, the facts stay loud. Truth don't hide when we bring the crowd. Screens lit up and the chat don't sleep. We dig real deep where the stories get steep. Pearls in the chat, lights in the back. Somebody better explain why the story went flat. You can dodge one question, maybe dodge two. With the internet clock, what you said don't cue. Wait, say that again. You said it was there, then it wasn't back then. You said you forgot, but the record got saved. Now the chat's wide awake and the room just changed.
Coming in clutch when it all gets strange. When the facts get buried and the tone starts change. We don't need drama, the truth does enough. That's why they pull up, we're coming in clutch.
Late night crew, yeah, we built this thing. One live stream turned to a whole damn ring. Members in green miles holding it down. Whole chat moving like a small town crowd. No fake hype, no lazy spin. Just one more clue and we're back again. If it don't sit right, we don't let it slide. We put the detail right up on live.
Coming in clutch. Say it one more time. Whole room locked on the very next line. From the first red flag to the final touch, you know where to be, we're coming in clutch.
When the screen fades out and the night gets still, somebody somewhere knows truth comes real. We'll be right here when the next facts drop. Coming in clutch and we don't just stop.
Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. We have a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is June 12th, 2026. It is currently 8:03 p.m. The East Coast of the United States. Hold on. Mic check. Do I sound okay? Are we good? Is my mic on? Nope, it's the wrong one. That should be much better. Thank you for telling me that, Sandwich. I thought it sounded a little weird. It should be a lot better now. It should be a lot better. Echo. Yep, we're good. We're good now. Okay. Sorry about that. We are coming in clutch. Yes. All right, guys, we're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, and it's getting crazy. It's getting freaking crazy. And we're going to talk about all of that, the chaos that's truly erupting in Pima County right now. Sheriff seems to have his daggers out, if you will. And we're also going to be talking about that tip that anonymously came in about Nancy. There may be a grave in Mexico. People are checking that out right now. Before we get started, if you would be so kind and please do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button. Would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you would consider sharing this live stream out, hit that share button, copy that link, drop it in any of your favorite social media. Also, after the live stream, you get 3 hypes a week. If you don't use it, you lose it. The more you participate in chat, all of that, the more points you get. And you have to do it after the live stream, and it has to be on a mobile device, either your cell phone, a tablet, whatever it is. I really want to know how you guys feel, and I want your honest opinion. There is no right or wrong answer. How do you guys feel about what's happening in Pima County right now with the YouTubers arrested? I can see both sides. I know you guys are like, Justin, pick a side, but I can really see both sides, and we're going to get into that here in just a minute. Smiley Miley, thank you so much. Thank you so very much. Really do appreciate your continued support for 5 months. Thank you so much, my dear. And good to see you, darling. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's payday. I just wanted to give you my thanks. And thank you so much, Ann. That's sweet. I really appreciate that, Ann. It's so good to see you. And thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Deb says it seems to be less about Nancy now. And this is the thing. I agree. What I will say is, if we're reporting, we're not supposed to be the news. And I support people out hitting the pavement. Like I've done it myself many times in different cases. Summer Wells, and then I've done it in Georgia, all kinds of places, Florida, you name it, I've done it. But I want to do a poll. Let's do a poll first. Let's see here. We'll do this one. Okay. Do you think YouTubers should be allowed outside Nancy's house? 1, yes, they've done nothing wrong. 2, yes, but they need to chill a bit. 3, no, there is nothing to report on, like outside of her house. Or 4, unsure. And you have every right to believe any of the 4. I just kind of want to see like where you guys stand on it. They are reporting it's just a hangout spot now. Okay. There is no right or wrong answer, because I mean, I truly can see everybody's point on this. I think the neighbors are being a little crazy, some of them, but I don't know. I do think mine, like, mine would probably be number 2. I do think they should be allowed out there. But I also think that, there needs to be, we need to just calm it down a little bit. Yeah. So we're going to get into it here in just a second. Pima County told them they can be on the easement, so he's done nothing wrong. I mean, this is the thing. We're going to watch the video of what happened yesterday. And yeah. It's a really tough situation. You know what I mean? They do not need to be being intense. That is true. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I think, again, and that's why I said yes, but they need to kind of chill out a little bit. I mean, we've got to all be respectful. You know what I mean? We all need to be respectful when we're out there. But I don't think he should have went to jail. In my opinion, I don't think he should have went to jail. I mean, Alex, he's a big dude. And there was like this little guy. You'll see it in a second. There was like this little guy in front of him, this little cop, and he's like looking up at Alex. It was funny. But I really wanted to get back to Nancy, because that's why we're all here in the first place, right? And who's that, Kels? You think the YouTuber or the cops? I think he said some things that probably, like, I understand we get very passionate about these stories. All of us do. But, I think he said some things that he shouldn't have said. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Yes, Alex is out now. He is out now. Yep. I saw the whole arrest. When I turned away for a moment, I came back and I was actually thought it was AI. Alex was doing a joke being arrested. I couldn't believe what he was saying. I couldn't believe what I was maybe seeing. Is that what you meant? I got you. All right, here we go. Let's play this. I just want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a warning. Strong language is used in this. Yeah, we're going to play it. I'm not going to, he was still mic'd. You got the wireless when you're out. If you're using your phone or whatever, he was still mic'd, and he said some pretty strong language. He was angry, and sometimes we can all say some things when we're angry. It's not an excuse, but yeah. So here we go. You know, I did see that he was. I saw someone like they were saying on Twitter like he was being kind of rude to Brian Enton, and like Brian is the most easy person to get along with ever. He's very chill. He's very chill. There's just a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions in this case. So I don't know. Respect authorities. They were intentionally pushing and pulling him to make it look like he was resisting. He was like, I don't believe. What, you know what really pissed me off is when they said he spit on the cops. That did not happen. That did not happen. That did not happen. He did not spit on those cops. That is one thing. That's absolutely one thing. Alex took that out of context. What Brian said, Brian was only reading a statement that was written, and Alex thought it was coming out of Brian's mouth. That was, okay, making up. Well, you know, I hope he apologizes for that. You know what I mean? I hope he just apologizes for that. If, you know what I mean? Like, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes every day, and we're human. So
Stand up.
No, stand up.
What I do?
Stand up. You're under arrest.
For what?
You're under arrest.
What am I under arrest for? Hey,
Stand up.
now, I just want to say so, you know, you guys know I support law enforcement, but I support good police officers. That's bad police officers. I don't think anybody should support, in my opinion. Before I was a creator, before I was even in true crime per se with YouTube, I used to work with First Amendment auditors here on YouTube. Some of their channels have 500,000 or more subscribers now. And, you know, there is a procedure that needs to be done, you know, and I think we should all know our rights. One thing, I don't think these guys just said, get up, you're being arrested. They didn't start a conversation. They didn't say why he was being arrested. I also noticed that they didn't read his Miranda rights as well. So,
hey,
Stand up.
okay, but listen, you guys,
Stand
what
up.
am I under arrest for?
Drop.
Hey, what am I under arrest for? Dude,
Stop it.
don't do it. Hey,
no, right there, he's saying, what am I under arrest for? Justin, he was out on a bond, and there is an agreement to not be in the scene that the crime was committed, or the victim. He wasn't supposed to be there on his bond rules. Alex was out on bond?
I'm not even fighting you. I want to know what I'm arrested for.
Get on the ground.
What am I under arrest for?
Get on the ground.
What am I under arrest for?
Get on the freaking ground.
Look, I didn't shove him down.
Comply.
What am I under arrest for?
I don't know. I don't think he shoved him down, did he? Let's go back.
Arrest for?
Get on the freaking ground.
No. I don't think he intentionally shoved him down there. In my opinion. I think he did fall.
Look, I didn't shove him down.
Comply.
What am I under arrest for?
Comply.
I will, but what am I under
Oh, it's
arrest
the second
for?
arrest? He's a big guy.
Fucking ass. Don't twist me. He's putting a cuff on me.
Knock it off.
He's putting a cuff
Now
on me.
relax.
Tell him you're putting a cuff on me.
Relax.
Don't twist my fucking hand. You guys. Get someone out here to get my stuff. I don't want them taking my shit.
Oh, I think I remember that. See, I don't really keep up with a lot of this. He was actually he was at his house, wasn't he? And they came and arrested him. He wasn't actually out there at the time he was arrested, from what I understand, right? YouTubers are real and more interesting, natural. I mean, you're right, Susie, and that's why media is dead. You know, big media is dead anymore, because they give you a 3-minute clip with a freaking script that is very generic and very basic, and people want authentic, raw, real, what's happening. And I don't blame you, because that's the kind of news I want to know as well. I don't want a 3-minute, maybe if you're lucky, script on Nancy Guthrie. I want to see what's really happening. Hey, lean on me. Yes, he was arrested at home because he was demonstrating the pop-up. Yeah, I wish he hadn't done that. I wish he hadn't done that. My advice, again, just my advice, if I were them, I would follow, whether I liked it or not. I'm just going to tell you how we do it in the First Amendment community. Whether I liked what they were saying or not, I would comply. And I'll tell you why. If I wasn't supposed to be out there and they trampled on my rights, so to speak, of being out there, then I would follow what they say and I would take their asses to court. Now, that's just what I would do, because you're going to look like they're trampling on your rights. And just, you don't like it in the meantime, but it will, in my opinion, serve you better in the future. If someone is trampling over your rights, be the biggest victim you can be. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Oh my God, you trampled on my rights. I'm getting an attorney. I'm following the attorney, and I'm going to go through it like that. But everyone's different. We're all different, and I truly can see all sides. That's what I would do. Oh, I can't be out there. I can't be on my, my own streets or whatever, reporting. So you can tell me where I can and cannot report. You can tell me where I can and cannot be in a city that I pay taxes in and reside in, a country that's supposed to be free. So you're trampling those rights of mine. I'm getting an attorney, and I'm going to let it fall where it falls. That's what I would do. That's just what I would do. But I mean, and let me tell you something. I cannot explain to you how different it is when you are on the ground in front of a story that's happening. It's so different than just, you can watch it, but when you're there, it's so different. It's so different, and it's a lot more emotional. It's a lot more emotional. So here we go. Okay, I'm sorry, but this little guy cracks me up.
this little guy here with the nice little neat haircut, he cracks me up. He does. He's a little guy.
Sir, can you please make sure my stuff's picked up? Someone get out here to get my stuff, please. Hey,
Stop
sir.
pulling away. Stop pulling away, bro. Get the,
Dude, my cuffs are on, bro.
relax. Relax.
You relax.
I'm not doing anything.
Then don't tell me to relax. I can speak however I want to, bro.
And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. We have the freedom. Yes, we have free speech, but there is not all speech is without consequences, right? But yeah, Alex is right there. He can speak pretty much how he wants right there. I think the little guy was being a dick, really. He wasn't. Alex just asked him if he would, please pick up his stuff, sir. So I kind of take up for Alex there.
You're no bigger of a human being than I am, bro. Remember that.
Stop putting your face in my face.
I can put my face anywhere I
Spit
want.
on me or catch a charge.
No one spit on you.
Fucking spit on me, dude.
No one spit on you.
Now, listen. I think that little guy, that cop right there, is wrong. And sometimes, again, I support law enforcement. Always have, always will. But there are assholes, cops out there as well. And Alex might have been passionate, and there could have been something that came out. He's sweating and all that, but he did not try to spit on him. He did not try to spit on him at all. And it seems like he was trying to make something up there, which can happen with some police officers. So I didn't think that was cool by this little police little tyke, whatever his name is, there. Alex did not spit on him at all.
Just shut your mouth, bro. If you don't want to talk. Can I get my stuff?
No.
I can't get my stuff?
No.
Hey, you guys are getting... Get the fuck off my arms! Stop! Stop that! Put me in the car and leave me the fuck alone!
Now, it's interesting because they got him out of the camera view right there. You can still hear. But
then why are you twisting my arms? You faggot, that dude.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, so he says the F word a couple times right there. Let me fast.
Fucking pieces of shit. Every single one of you.
You have anything in your pockets?
I don't know. If any of my shit's missing, you're gonna pay for it, bro. That's all my money. I paid for that.
Jewelry.
I was afraid he was going to have like a heart attack or something. So I hope he got his stuff. Kind of sad though. Yeah, I don't like to see any of this happens. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's right. That's right. They don't have to read your Miranda rights immediately. However, they should. They absolutely should, because once you're Mirandized, anything that he said right here, it cannot be held against him. So there's that as well. He gets back when he goes to court. If there was ever a clean house in Pima County, I think I think no matter what side you're on, I think everyone thinks Sheriff Doofy needs to go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Alex, he's a big guy. He's actually older than I thought he was. I forgot how old he was, but I think somebody said like 50 something.
9149 422 That's fine.
Okay, so that was pretty much it. Someone said, Justin, if you ever want to hit the streets, I'll bail you out. Well, I've almost got arrested before, but I usually pretty much comply with what they're saying to me, because you want to take my rights away. Okay, well, I'm taking you to court, if that happens. No brother, an ex-cop, and he was an ass. Yeah. I'm on the side of, so, okay, do I got another poll here? Let me look before we get to the next thing. So if you guys haven't voted yet, do you think the YouTuber should be allowed outside? Number 1, yes, they've done nothing wrong. 2, yes, but they need to chill a bit. 3, no, there is nothing to report on outside. Or 4, unsure. So there is no right or wrong answer. There is no right or wrong answer. But Alex, he is out now, and I'm glad. I just don't want him. I just don't want him to, get in trouble and get locked up for a much longer time than he should. You know what I mean? Or not that he should, but that is possible. I'm afraid he will go back. Yeah, there's a lot of people that's said that. I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't, and that he just truly gets an attorney and go from there. That's what I hope. So, their Sheriff Nanos, he was in, what was it? He is the sheriff and puts a damn GUN. I don't know what this is. What's this?
Oh, stand up.
What I do?
Stand up. You're under arrest.
For what?
Why does it got nerdies on there? Okay, I don't know about that. All right. But I showed you guys that the other day, where Sheriff Nanos put a GUN on his carry-on, and nothing happened to him. I mean, it's not like Alex was out there doing anything to really harm anybody. He was just sitting in his chair. But I do understand both sides. So my thing is, like I said, with the poll, mine would be everyone. I think everyone should be allowed out there, but I do think, we need to just chill out a little bit and get the story back to Nancy. Knows the most people that cracks me up. A lot of us miss them being out there, especially Juice. Yeah, I felt really bad for him. I don't really know him very much, but he seems like, from what I hear, he seems like a really good person. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Mr. Loris. Love you, baby. Appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. The voice of reason is you, Dustin. Thank you, Molly. I try to be fair. All right. So this is, from what I understand, one of the neighbors, and she is one of the ones that's allegedly bitching Sheriff Nanos is a big hero now. Saved neighborhood from streamers, but couldn't catch the perps. I feel you. I feel you. You know what I mean? The juice is very nice. Yeah, he seems like, hey, Marie, it's good to see you. I don't think that they should be allowed out there all hours of the day and night. If I had kids, I wouldn't want strange men hanging around at night, especially with no street lights. I listen. I understand. I do understand. It just goes. This is the thing. If you're being, not loud all hours of the night, you're not walking in people's yards and all of that, I don't think there should be a problem. But we want to be able, like I said the other day, when we want someone's rights to stop, even if we should support, in my opinion, all protesters, because part of being a protester is 50% at least is not going to agree with you, generally speaking, right? And one of these days you might want to protest something, and you can be stopped, and we shouldn't have that here. There was one YouTuber wearing a mask outside there. I mean, listen, yeah, I mean, we gotta, I think we just need to kind of relax a little bit. And
that's a polite request. I have the right to request that you don't photograph.
Okay, now this really annoys the shit out of me when people say, you can't photograph me, I'm calling the police. You can call the police till the day of judgment, and the police cannot do a thing about it. You cannot be in your car on a road in public and say, I have the right for you to not photograph me. That is complete bullshit. There is no expectation of privacy in public. There is none. Now, someone can't walk up to your home window and take pictures. That is true, right? Now, if they were standing in the road and you're in front of the window, yeah, they can. But do you know how many cameras you're on every single day and you don't even know about it? Like, it doesn't matter if you're driving down your street or driving next to businesses or inside a business. There's dash cam, there's doorbell cameras, there's surveillance outside, inside places, all kinds of stuff. So please, that's one of the things that irritate me the most, when people's like, you can't record me. Well, yeah, if you're right here in public, you can.
Or my personal property, my car, or anything.
So wrong, lady.
So the thing of it is, you're not supposed to be up here. You're harassing the neighbors around here by being.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you can't park there. I was, but someone put poop down there. Yeah. Someone lined poop all along the side of the easement there. Dog poop.
We have put up stuff to keep you off of that's my property.
So you're the one who did that? That's not your property, that's the easement.
No.
So why'd you put...
Easement. I own the property and the county has an easement.
This woman just seems like a Karen to me. like, and not the good Karens, like the bad Karens.
Tell me more.
It's my property.
You're-
I own it.
Okay, but you can't park there right now. You don't have your seatbelt on.
I
And-
don't park there.
You're parked right now.
No, I am leaving right now.
Well, you're parked and your car's off.
You to move.
Well, I wish you would have told me before you put the poop down there, because I was moving the rocks with my hands, throwing them into the wash because they're not supposed to be blocking the easement.
I have the right to move rocks, and you'll see them all along the
Oh, I know. I saw them. Oh,
rocks right
I sure. You're right. And I saw yours because it was very uniform. But the poop is a little out of hand, don't you think? That was nasty because my hands.
do that. That's just animals coming.
Well, you know what? I would check the laws in the area and see if, is there a fine for not cleaning up your dog shat? In some areas there is.
It was dog poop, and there was a lot of it.
Listen, javelina come through almost every evening.
Who threw the cactus over there, all over the rocks?
I did.
Why the cactus? I don't get it.
To try and keep you from roaming around and being in my yard and coming.
Awesome. Hey, Sue Ellen.
So I think she's just needs to go into the sunset and live out the rest of her life and not worry about someone who's sitting there in a chair. That's just me, though. Now, if he was acting, crazy and all that, that's Sue Ellen. She has harassed them since day one. She allegedly wouldn't turn over video footage to law enforcement. Yeah, she's the creepo, in my opinion. Like, move the hell on. But that's just me. Like, she's definitely not the good. I hate saying Karens because there's a lot of good Karens. You know what I mean? We have an easement and anyone can go on it. It's city's property. Absolutely. Absolutely. But what I would, in my opinion, what I would suggest Alex to do is comply and get an attorney. Because you have the right to protest. You do. How hard is it to pull up a cactus? Cactuses generally don't have deep roots. They generally don't have deep roots, so they're not real hard generally. I feel bad for the ones who are named Karen. Me too. That's why I don't like saying it.
Continues tonight after the Pima County Sheriff took action against 3 YouTubers he says disrupted a Catalina's Foothills neighborhood with unlawful behavior. Charges range from obstruction of highway or public thoroughfare to being a public nuisance.
I think they're trying to I think Sheriff Nanos is probably trying to set an example by this is what I would say. This is what I think Alex is, if he has an attorney or Juice or any of them, I would say, so if something major happens in the Nancy Guthrie case, when are we allowed to go there to flex our freedoms, so to speak? Will the regular news be able to go there? And what sets the precedent of where when you say I can go in front of this home and set in an easement to record? Because that's a dictatorship, if you ask me. Because there's going to be some big news in Nancy's case sooner or later. Something's going to happen major, and big media is going to be out there, right? Are you going to arrest them, Sheriff Doofy, or no? And what is the difference? Because then you are being selective about who you arrest. Now, the media, YouTubers, TikTokers, Facebookers, random public, they've been out there for months. The crowd significantly left, probably 6 weeks ago. So Nanos is going to have an answer for that, in my opinion. They still have an ordinance up allowing them there, but yet they get arrested. Well, he's going to have to come up with something quickly, in my opinion, because you can't do that. You can't do that. Dolores, thank you so much, my dear. Really appreciate you very much. Thank you, Miss Dolores. Thank you for your support, Mama CJ. Really appreciate you. She's the one who put the poop out there. When I was on Quentin Simon case, they put out sardines where we were standing and cow poop, cow manure, and we just moved it. It's just fish and cow shit. We just moved it. It's not that big.
News for Tucson's Monica Garcia is live with us tonight. She's been following this all along from the beginning. She's now joining us from the newsroom, the latest on the enforcement action. Monica, what have you uncovered?
Yeah, Sean, a lot happening here. We did learn of the stricter enforcement in an interview we have scheduled with the sheriff on Monday on a different story.
And this Monica Garcia, she was out there the other day. Oh, yeah, onions too. I forgot about that. Yeah, onions too. She was out there reporting the other day. Why is she allowed to report out there? And are you giving people a time limit on how long they can be out there? Because there has to be rules for everybody. She was in the road. Yeah. And so you can't treat people differently. You just can't do that. About talking shit, there is no law. Yeah. So that's why I believe, in my opinion, I would, if I was Alex, I would just comply right now, and I would be the biggest victim God ever stretched a piece of skin over if I was him. Because you're allowing them to go out there. I wasn't standing in the road. I was just sitting down. So that's what I would do if I was him. But we'll just have to see.
We were doing. So that crackdown, the sheriff says, is happening in the neighborhood of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie, who disappeared over 4 months ago. He says it follows numerous and constant complaints from people living in that neighborhood, claiming individuals are trespassing, blocking roadways, and disrupting the peace of the neighborhood. The sheriff says the calls and patrols in that area have been extensive, and his deputies have gone above and beyond to communicate with content creators there to help keep the peace, but to no avail. Nanos went on to say that he supports everyone's First Amendment rights, but says the behavior in that neighborhood has gone east, but to no avail. Nanos went on to say that he supports everyone's First Amendment rights.
Clearly you don't.
But says the behavior in that neighborhood has gone beyond that.
But here's the thing. We don't have to like someone's language. In fact, that's the whole reason for protesting and free speech. Someone's not going to like it. And again, like I just saw the video right before Alex was arrested. And yeah, he was talking about the sheriff in a way the sheriff would not like it, right? But he wasn't threatening the sheriff. right? Like, yeah, we have free speech, but there is limits to that speech, right? As long as you're not threatening someone, that's that I seen, at least. I didn't see the whole video, but if he was just sitting there and he was being critical of the sheriff, that's still not against the law. It's not against the law to be critical of someone. Sue Ellen doesn't give two shits about NG. I agree. I think she's just a very not likable person, in my opinion. Sue Ellen isn't. What was that one woman? She was like, I think she was like an elected official or something like that. She bitched about it not very early on, but pretty early on in the Nancy Guthrie case. She was bitching about all the YouTubers and stuff. And I was like, girl, get bent. I couldn't remember her name, but
And we started getting calls from the neighbors about actually a certain group of these, I'll use the word YouTubers, but the complaints got to be pretty egregious in that the behavior of those individuals was becoming pretty scary, pretty frightful to the neighborhood.
And that's why I say, I'm really trying to be fair here. And that's where, I would not recommend being, crazy while you're out there. I wouldn't recommend being extremely loud or vulgar or if some people say like he peed or something like that. I wouldn't recommend that, because that's where they're going to hook you if you're not careful. And I want him to be able to use his rights. You know what I mean, Alex? So, that's where I would be careful. As long as you're out there and you're being relatively quiet, especially within a period of certain hours, and you're just sitting out there and they're arresting you, that's where he played loud music. He was trying them. And yeah, see, that's the thing I hope he doesn't do or anything like that. If he was, playing loud music, because that's where they can get you. That's where they can get you. Where they're going to say, we're not trampling on his rights. We just don't want the loud music or peeing or whatever they say. Juice and 857 are respecting. Oh yeah, I figured Juice, they say, is a really good guy, and 857 is too. It wasn't that loud from his phone. Oh, well, if it's from his phone, it's not like it's a boom box or anything like that. Juice was only there 17 minutes. It was through a phone. How loud could it have been? Yeah, I agree. If it was just through his phone, come on now. Come on. We used the neighbor's house. The neighbor let us use the bathroom when we were at Quentin Simon's house. Yeah. So, or some of the people would just go up the street or whatever. The neighbor let us use the bathroom when we were at Quentin's house, and some people would just go up to the convenience store.
And so the sheriff also tells us that he has the support of the Pima County attorney. We reached out to her and she sent us this statement on the charges. She says the sheriff was advised by PCAO of the potential criminal charges available involving misdemeanor public nuisance citations, given neighborhood reports of chronic challenges. These cases, like all other cases, must thoroughly be evaluated to see if they reach the threshold for prosecution in our office. And so, Sean, as for the three
Angela
YouTubers,
makes a comment. The family asked everyone to leave a long time ago, then the neighbors, and now the police. It's time for them to listen. In my opinion, Nancy isn't there anymore. Time to give these people their peace. Yeah, like I understand what you're saying. I do. I think the best way to do it, in my opinion, is allowing both. As long as there is no party there and they're not blocking the roadways and they're not being super loud, why can't both cohabitate, if you will, together? Now, one thing about Tommaso and Annie, for instance, one thing about Tommaso and Annie, what we're going to get into here in a little bit, and Maureen said this. I don't know if it was on Brian's channel or whatever, but she makes a really good point. You do not hear law enforcement talking about Tommaso at all. They won't even bring his name up. When did the family ask for YouTubers to go? I never heard that the family, I don't know if they did or not, but I know, wasn't there one time Tommaso got mad or something when he was being videotaped or something? Carla says, Justin, she's allowed to be out there because she works for KBOA. She's a local news broadcaster for Tucson, Arizona, in my opinion, which I do believe it's fair. Well, this is where I'm probably going to disagree with you a little bit, Carla, because there is no set precedent on who can be the media. You are technically the media when you share out a news feed on your Facebook, for instance. That you are part of the media essentially whenever that is happening. So because she works for a company that pays her or profits, doesn't give her any more rights than it does you or I. You know what I mean? Nano said his new rules applied to local media as well. Well, she wasn't arrested the other day. Yeah, there can't be rules for the, what is it, rules for thee and not for me? No. You can say she's just trying to feed her family. Well, so is Alex. Right? So are we all. So the family has done nothing except throw money after wards to save face, in my opinion. It seems like they haven't done a lot.
Accused in this case, they've all taken to their individual platforms disagreeing with the charges.
But here's the thing. I think Brian Enton has spoke on this as well. Local media will almost always kiss the sheriff's ass, right or wrong. Why do you say? Because this is their market. This is the only place that they report on is Tucson, right? And because of that, you got to have sources Who are your sources? Well, it's local law enforcement. They tell you things off the cuff that they can't tell you or won't tell you. You know what I mean? But they'll tell you if you're, there's something anonymous happening, under off the cuff, so they say. And if they kind of go against the grain, well, they're not going to give you any sources. And then you're pretty much shit out of luck, because it's who people talk to us in this business. And if you, go against your, the king, so to speak, which is Sheriff Nanos in this case, then his people are not going to work with you, and you're not going to get sources, because like I said, in this kind of business, it's all about sources and people trusting you. They need to get a hold of their state rep, the senator. They are not violating any laws. Sue Ellen needs arrested. Destruction of property and obstruction of a public easement must be kept. KVOA lies and edits everything, and don't believe the news station. Well, this is the reason why a lot of people don't believe big media anymore. You know what I mean? So I really wanted to go back on Nancy, the conversation of Nancy, because that's what it's about, right? So there is some things about that. Hold on one here. I don't want it to. So there's this that a group of workers to locate missing people in Mexico said they searched for Nancy after they received an anonymous tip that Nancy Guthrie was buried around the border in an unmarked grave. And I got a poll. I want to see what you guys think on this. I've got actually two polls. First, I want to know, do you guys think, in your opinion, why is it not popping up? Come on now. Let me see here. Stop poll. Start poll. Okay. Do you think the Mexico grave tip claim is credible? Put a 1 in chat for yes. Put a 2 in chat for no. Put a 3 in chat for unsure. Oh, thank you, Vicky. Thank you for your support, baby. Appreciate you very much. Now, remember, in the early days, they said, be prepared to go international. Does that mean Mexico? Does that mean Jordan? Does that mean the Middle East? Does that mean Asia? Does that mean they're just trying to throw you off? So I'd like to see, so 18% as of now says yes, they do believe it's credible. 53% says no. And we're going to get more into it in a second. Lori, thank you so much, babe. Appreciate you. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate that very much. Allison says, can I say that another streamer has posted several times saying that they have been making the complaints under the guise of being a neighbor? Like another streamer? Like, are you saying like a streamer is saying that they're a neighbor and they're complaining? Really? Why would they do that? I don't know why they would do that. Okay, here we go. Let me show you this. This is going to WGAL. There, we're going to show you a little bit more. So most of you says no, or you think you're, unsure about this thing. Oops, second. This is what Brian says.
Hey guys, so I saw the reports about the group in Mexico, the volunteer group, that claims they received an anonymous tip that someone knew where Nancy Guthrie was and that there was a grave, and this group has now been out searching in Mexico. There's some video of them searching. They haven't found anything.
What's interesting to me is there is this in these letters that they kept sending to TMZ. This guy supposedly kept saying, I know who did this to Nancy, the FBI, they're he said he would give up one of the people. And so it kind of always just like interesting.
Pima County Sheriff's Office put out a statement just saying that they're aware of the reports, but that, they haven't heard anything from Mexican authorities. My sense is that this is probably not anything serious. You never know, though. I mean, all it's going to take to crack this case open is one tip that comes in that is legit, but just based on what I'm seeing at this point, I don't think that this is going to end up being legit or anything related to the Nancy Guthrie case, but we'll have to wait and see. And again, you never really know. I mean, you kind of have to take everything seriously because you don't know what will end up being legit. And Mexico is close.
Very close.
I went there when we were in Tucson. I drove there. It's like an hour away and you can drive right into Mexico. So I do think that authorities have to consider that Mexico is part of the equation here. But in terms of this specific tip, I haven't seen or heard anything from my sources that indicate that it's, credible or really going to pan out into anything. Hey guys.
It's I want to show you a couple more things about this because where at in Mexico are they saying? That'll be interesting as well.
For a while, they were inside the house. They were walking around the perimeter.
A flurry of activity Wednesday at the home of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, well into the fourth week of the search for the missing 84-year-old.
Is there not an updated video? Maybe that's the wrong one. This one. Okay. Sheriff Doofy speaks about this.
The investigation and the chances of you all being able to find Nancy Guthrie.
Well, these cases are difficult. They, and it's not just this case. A number of our cases come to us where it requires a lot of work from other people. It's not just a detective goes out there, talks to somebody, and we can make an arrest. This is a very sensitive case, but what really makes it prolonged is we do rely on labs for the digital part of this case, which is very critical. Labs for our DNA, which is also very critical. But when you're looking at those labs and the work they do, you have a science there, and science has rules that it has to go by. Even though it's not DNA, they'll tell you isn't an exact science. It's 99% plus. So it's pretty close, but you still have to follow rules. They have protocols because you don't want to jeopardize not just the integrity of this case, but the integrity of DNA as a supplement to law enforcement work. And to be honest, take it to the other side, the criminal justice process. We have rules we have to go by too. Constitution, laws, things of that nature, rules of the court, those all guide us. And so if I were to say there's a positive to this, it is that people are working, doing their best to stay within those rules so that they have that understanding that, look, nobody wants to arrest the wrong person. We want to make.
Okay. He's just moaning is all he's doing there. That's all he's doing. So I want to show you this little clip right here of what Maureen said. And it made me really start thinking, about why are they not mentioning Tommaso at all? Let me see.
That they haven't named, they haven't even mentioned the brother-in-law in anything. I mean,
Right.
just the fact that he's not mentioned at all, to me, is very interesting. That they haven't named, they haven't even mentioned the brother-in-law in anything. I mean,
Right.
just the fact that he's not mentioned at all, to me, is very interesting. That they haven't
Let me show you
named,
this.
they haven't even mentioned the brother.
Why do they not mention Tommaso at all? You know, they many times they don't want to spook someone. You know what I mean? They don't want to spook someone. And is this what this is? Look at all the people that was out there. You know, when Brian and them was out there, there were so many people. They called him family. Yeah. Again, my spidey senses are still up for A&T. They are. You can't help. You can't help. Hey, Pebbles, an hour and 10 minutes, babe. An hour and 10 minutes. They didn't even want to give his name at the person that dropped her back home. Well, yeah, they just said family. I don't know. But he keeps, Nanos keeps saying, well, this could be, you know, we don't want to blame someone that's, you know, could be innocent. Well, yeah, I get that. But listen
These
to this.
private investigators and hired private investigators, which I'm told is not true. And then I wanted to play for you News Nation's Katie Pavlich, one of my colleagues at News Nation. She interviewed Kash Patel, who is, of course, the FBI
Listen to
director,
this.
who has spoken out a little bit in the past about the Guthrie investigation.
Now, I, you know, feel how you feel about Kash Patel, but I agree with everything Kash Patel is saying here. Yeah, Nanos seemingly, in my opinion, blocked the FBI
investigation, but she asked him if there was an update, sort of what the latest is. And I wanted you to hear what Kash Patel's response was.
From day one, the FBI offered up our assistance because it was a state and local matter. So we were not the lead agency because it was not being investigated as a federal matter, because there was no evidence about a federal nexus to a federal crime. So we showed up immediately and offered our assistance. We were not let in for 4 days. And that's their choice. We continued to offer assistance. I even visited our Tucson office where we had 150 agents.
Now, you know, you're going to hear Sheriff Doofy say, well, the FBI was there since the beginning. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean you're giving them the information either.
An analyst working on the Nancy Guthrie case to provide intelligence. What the FBI is great at, what we did when we finally had access to the Ring doorbell camera, for example, we went to our partners at Google and we said, hey, we know that there wasn't a paid subscription service, but let's go look at the metadata and see if we can find a needle in a needle in a needle in a haystack. And what do? We pull that out. Same thing with the DNA. We offered our assistants to go test the DNA, and it's up to them. They chose to use a private laboratory. It's like a child abduction case or missing persons case. You need the first 48 hours to hit the ground hard.
Exactly.
And again, the state and locals are in charge of those investigations. We, the FBI, don't take ownership of them. We've continued to offer assistance. We continue to do it now. And we will show up for any investigative examinations that they wish our assistance on, whether it's our laboratories in Quantico. But that's the nature between state and federal and local law enforcement. And what you saw here in Ohio is when state and locals work together, it works really well.
So obviously there's still a bit of a blame game going on here.
I think I agree with Kash Patel here. Test the DNA, and they chose Florida. Yeah, when he could have chose a private airplane straight to Quantico at no cost to him, 1 billion times faster. It's no sense. Absolutely nonsense.
Between the FBI and the sheriff's office, the Pima County Sheriff has said Last time Kash Patel said that they were kept out of the investigation, the sheriff basically said that that was not true and that there was a member of the FBI task force that...
Leanne, it's weird, isn't it? Because again, Trump said, we think, we're making progress on this. We should have the guy shortly and all of this. And we thought it was just right around the corner. And I don't know. It's very weird. Very weird.
quickly was part of the investigation, like almost from the beginning. But a member of the FBI task force that works with the sheriff's office, I've learned or been told, is different than the full weight of the FBI being called in initially. And that's something that I want to explain. And who better person than Maureen O'Connell? You guys know her. I have her on a lot. She's one of my friends. She's a retired FBI agent. And I'm gonna get to Lynette Hooker a little bit later in this episode. But first, I wanted to talk to Maureen about the latest with the Guthrie investigation and specifically what she reads into Kash Patel's comments.
Hey, Maureen, thanks so much for coming on my show again. Really appreciate it. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too, as always, Brian.
I wanted to introduce you, by the way, my Scout. It's my dog. I'm home right now.
Do you think the sprinkler system was put in, or likely they are fixing it, but really cleaning evidence up? I don't really think there's anything to the sprinkler system, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. ICE can go into towns they don't want them, but the FBI can't partner with local law enforcement, ? So the FBI, whoever is the case originally went to, is the head of the case, unless Nanos would turn it over and say, here, we're giving this case to you. You can be the head of it now. But in my opinion, I think the FBI is pretty much, in my opinion, the head of it now. They're just not, they don't have that, they haven't turned it over, but I think they're doing most of the work.
So, yeah, she's just resting on the couch next to me, which is nice.
She's so cute.
Yeah, she's a good dog. I wanted to start out asking you, though, Kash Patel was on News Nation and was asked about the Nancy Guthrie investigation again, and kind of gave a similar answer to what he gave to Sean Hannity last time he was asked about it, and said that, they weren't called in early enough, and specifically said, that it sort of alluded to the fact that the FBI lost out on those first 48 hours, which is different than what the sheriff has said. The sheriff says, we have someone on the FBI task force.
Tommaso, I don't know if he was born in the United States, or I know he's Italian, but I don't know if he was born here, if he's like first generation, or if he was born in Italy. I really don't know. FBI offered expedited forensic testing and investigative support at no cost. Of those resources were not utilized. Why would Nanos not use the federal assistance that was given at the time was critical. With Nanos, I always took note, because he would always talk about our federal partners. He was just using word salad. That's all he was using.
The sheriff's office, and they were there within the first 48 hours. Like, what do you read into that? Like, who's kind of telling the truth here?
Wait, did he say that the task force was there on scene with his detective as well as the FBI agents assigned to that task force? Is that what you understand?
Yeah, so the Kash Patel said that they were kept out for the first 48 hours. The sheriff has said that's not true because we have someone on the FBI task force that's within our office who was there within the first 48 hours.
Okay, well,
listen, because the FBI is there doesn't mean they're necessarily assisting like they want to be assisting, right? They're there if you need them for something, but the sheriff has to say, hey, FBI, we need you to do this, right? The FBI will go there and basically stand around until the sheriff says, we need you to go look at this, or we need you to test this. You're the head of it, Doofy. Sheriff Doofy.
Okay. Yeah, those are two different things. When the FBI is on scene and there's 100 or more of them in a nearby hotel, and they're briefed up, packed up, have all their gear, and they're ready to roll.
Exactly, Maureen.
And sitting there waiting for 4 days. That is entirely different than an FBI agent on your task force, probably a fugitive task force. So he's not an evidence guy. He might be, like I was an evidence person and I worked criminal matters my whole career. So there is that. And I think the same can be said for some other retired FBI agents, like even, that you've talked to. However, it's not the same as allowing the specialists, the ERT members to come in, be part of, help set up a plan. Because a lot of times when you're going into a situation like this, you put a plan together first. You don't just, bum rush the door and go in and start doing whatever you're doing. You put a plan together. And you have one of the team members does an initial walkthrough. And during that initial walkthrough, which could have been and should have been done with the CSI person and or detective and someone from Pima County, you walk through and it's probably one of the guys that was there initially that can say, when I came in, the family members were here. They told me this. Then we walked over here. They told me that. We searched everything. Because, when you roll up on a situation like this as a...
I don't know, Tucson. That's a good question. I know a lot of people's asking about this white Tesla guy, but she apparently, well, this is the thing. I think Brian said that the person, Savannah, didn't pay $500,000 or something like that for a PI. I don't think he said she didn't have a PI, though. Maybe
sheriff's deputy or as a police officer. It could have been a situation as simple as she was changing a light bulb in a closet or in the garage and she fell off a ladder and she's tucked behind something. So you have to, when you search for someone, it's not just shouting their name and looking around. You actually have to look in places that you might not suspect. And Pima County Sheriff's Department is very accustomed to go looking for people in these type of situations. So that's probably what they were looking at initially. So
I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, they're used to looking for people, but they don't have people like EquiSearch and United Cajun Navy. That's all they do. And they have a lot better technology than the police do because that's all they do. Can people confirm that Nancy was brought home? There's not 100% proof of it, but I believe with all my heart that she was brought home. Yes, I do personally, but there are people that don't.
Anyhow, the narrative was set by the family members talking to those initial responders. And so the initial walkthrough.
I mean, essentially what we are believing is what Tommaso and Annie are telling us, right? That's what we are believing. Essentially after Nancy got out of the Uber at Annie and Tommaso's, we don't know what happened. After she got out of that car, walked in that home, we are taking Annie and Tommaso's word for everything. Now, I don't believe like the blood is planted or anything like that. I just don't. Nancy had to be home to cough up blood on the front porch. I agree. And just her pacemaker and all of that, I believe she got home. Now, that doesn't mean there couldn't have been a tense dinner. She went over there to try to work things out. Who knows? If she were there at the daughter's house Saturday night, then why did Nano say that they were at her house Saturday night? If she were at the daughter's house Saturday night, then why did Nano say they were at her house Saturday? I don't really get what you mean. even the official log says they were there Saturday night. The official log says Nancy was essentially, it said 6:30, which is approximately the time she got out of that Uber and went into that house, right? The 2 miles away, kind of lazy not picking her up. I agree 1,000%. Masked Man is a tiny fish in a huge pond, in my opinion. He has picked up and cut loose because tampering with camera is a petty crime. If we are to believe Annie and Tommaso, then we only can believe that she walked from their car into the garage, but no further, not into the house, in my opinion. I mean, here's the thing, though, right? If Tommaso brought her over and we know the garage door opened and closed in 2 minutes, right? If Tommaso left, right, from, we'll say, what, 9:30? Hold on, what's the timeline on this? Let me look at something here. 9:30 to like, what, 1:30? That's several hours. Police call to Nancy's house on Saturday night before she was missing. I don't know about that. Blood was not on the porch when porch guy was there, so I don't think it was from a previous cut. No, 1,000. No, it wasn't from previous cut.
Who might be with those people or with that law enforcement officer, and they telling you exactly what they found, what they saw. We noticed this. The family member said this is out of place, or the family member said this happened when, and then you can say, you know, how long was the family member here before they called you guys, and how far did they look, and did they walk around outside? Whose cars got pulled up on the driveway? Did everyone park out in front beforehand, or you know, did the family members, were their cars up toward the back, whatever? What did the family members say about these back doors being ajar with those potted plants being propped open? You know, those type of things, because that's going to steer your plan. Your plan is going to be, you know, it's going to be comprehensive, very comprehensive, but this type of information will help you as you formulate your plan. So having a guy from the Fugitive Task Force, to get back to your question, is really great, and he's someone that can interface with the FBI agents that are at the hotel. But these are agents from other divisions that just got flown in. That, you know, that's going to come down from the top. The information is going to regarding what they're supposed to do is going to come from a higher level than a member of a task force from that division.
So I'm definitely a stress eater. Some people, when they get stressed, they do not want to eat. I am literally the total opposite. Like if I'm on deadline for work, which is pretty much every day, and I'm down to the wire, I just want something to munch on, and usually it's something bad that I shouldn't have. And Factor has really helped me, and I appreciate them for sponsoring this video. The thing I love about Factor is it makes eating healthy.
Sorry. All right, let me show you this right up here. For instance, look at this. Here we go. So Nancy, if we look at this right here, 5:32, Nancy travels to local family member's home in Uber. 5:32. The official log was 6:30. 6:30. 9:48 is when the family drops Nancy's home off at her home. This is Tommaso. I don't like the word family. Put a name on it, right? Garage door opens. 9:50, garage door closes. So we got from 9:50, 10:50, 11:50, 12:50, 1:50, almost 4 hours to the dot. Almost 4 hours later is whenever something is happening. Doorbells, cameras starts disconnecting at 1:47. I was thinking about this. It's okay, so it's 1:47 in the morning and the doorbell cameras start disconnecting. This doesn't mean this guy is in the home, right? It doesn't mean he's in the home. It just means that things are starting to disconnect. 2:12 a.m. camera software detects a person. No video available due to current no subscription. 2:28 pacemaker app shows disconnect from home, right? So 2:12 to 2:28. What is that? 14 minutes? 14 minutes. That is a critical timeline right here. Right? 2:12 to 2:28. That 14 minutes is the most important, in my opinion, more than the entire 40 some minutes. A&T invited her to dinner. It don't pick her up, so she was taking an Uber. Do they even pay for her Uber, or did she pay for it? Good question, Tucson girl. Good question. And I really want to know, is this something that they normally did? That they normally invite her over? Was this a special occasion? Like, if I didn't see Nancy's phone over there, like if I was the FBI or Pima County, and let's say Nancy hadn't been there in 2 or 3 months, that would be a little odd to me. You know what I mean? 2 minutes to put Apple Watch on end table. I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah. No, Nancy paid for her own. Yeah. And, if I'm going to invite someone over for dinner, and they can't drive, I'm going to pick them up. Even if it's not a family member, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to come and get you. I'm not going to make you pay to come over to my house. You know what I mean? Wasn't it near Nancy's birthday? Yes, it was. It was. Me Too. Was it someone they did weekly, monthly? Yes. Or was it because of her birthday? Could be because of her birthday. But 4 hours later, she's essentially dead. She's essentially dead. Hey, Brandy. I am sus of the whole garage door thing. Was it there at Nancy's home, shut, open, but was anyone else going in and out? She had a security system, didn't she? It just wasn't on. Even if your security system's not on, you will be able to see when those doors open or close. Any of the doors. Right? Okay, let me show you here. On this, do I have it up? I might have to pull it up. Let me check this. I think Chris made something really. Let me see here. Guys, the 15th, I think it's Monday. We're going to be doing a special on Summer Moon Utah Wells. A little girl who's been missing for 5 years. I think Nancy Grace did something on it today as well. Here, let me find this real quick. But I've been to Summer Moon Utah Wells's house before, many times actually, and make sure you join us for that as well. Okay, here we go. Let me show this.
What your observation and thought process is.
So this is a map that I had put together, and I put this together prior to the map that came out, which I guess Annie released, if I'm correct, to people within the community that was at the title screen of this episode. So I put this out prior to that coming out, which I found was kind of interesting. Basically, I just identified the different routes out and the optimal route out of that community. And I'll explain why. So Route 77, I know locals have, what's the local name for it? I'm not sure. Route 77, the main road north and south there. It's got an actual name, but I just can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know either.
I feel like there is just one person in there that night, but I mean, look at this. Look at this route. How, like this is like a windy ass road. You're just not, like, someone's going to have to know more about this, but let's think about this. I just thought of this. A lot of us still question A and T, right? But I don't think any of us believe anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. Call me out if I'm wrong. That this is, oops, wrong one. This is Tommaso, right? And it's certainly not Annie. And if we believe that this guy was there on the 11th, which I do, I believe this guy was there before this happened. I believe when he's that picture without the backpack and all that was prior to Nancy going missing. Then, because I mean, let's be real. If this was Tommaso, this guy right here, if this was Tommaso, he's not going to need to stake this place out, right? He knows this place through and through. There's no need for him to come there on the 11th and look around. Thank you for that, BRM. I would love to see the footage of the inside of the house. I'm sure. Dolly, I've got a live stream where we've got older pictures of the inside. It was probably from maybe the early 2000s or something. So, you know, if this was Tommaso, Tommaso's not going to need to stake this place out.
That's okay. So somebody in the chat will know. So that's the main corridor, north-south corridor. And after committing this crime, this offender is going to want to get out of the area. And most likely...
Oracle Road? Is it Oracle
Road?
Yeah, because I Googled it.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Gary. So Oracle Road, they're going to want to get to that road, most likely, to get out of this area. And they can either go down into Tucson or they can go north into remote territory, remote areas.
Let me find this.
It could be real.
What Nancy's route would have been,
What's
right?
Nancy?
Because we're not focused on Nancy's route. We're focused on the offender's route out of that area.
Okay, so allegedly this, and by the way,
I agree.
For the record,
I agree. Now, what Deb says, true, Justin, but I think it was a hired hit. So T was behind the scenes who hired people. If it was him, I agree. If this was a hired thing, especially from a family member or friend, then you would want them to get familiar with maybe the house while she's gone. I mean, someone could have been in Nancy's house while she was gone to a doctor's appointment on certain days. The FBI might know that, or, Pima County. Who's to say that this man hasn't been in that house before? Whether he was in there while, like I said, Nancy was away, doctor's appointment, grocery shopping, or whatever, because this guy was clearly watching her, or may have even, there's the other theory of it could be, like an electrician or someone that's worked for in the past. But I do think it was probably hard.
We do not know 100% confirmed from any law enforcement source in any way, shape, or form that this is an actual map that was released by Annie Guthrie to the police. It's been reported on many, news agencies, as well as news programs, YouTube channels, etc. However, we're going to run off the premise that it could be real, and if so, then
I mean, that's a good question, right, Army? Has Annie or Tommy spoke publicly? If not, why? Why not conduct to help find mom? Well, that's a good question. And, like if I was, people's going to say, if Tommaso talks out, he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. Well, it's not really what the public thinks. It's what, I think it would give a lot of information, because he was the one that dropped her off. Like, he could be, if he's not involved in any way, shape, or form, he could give the public information of like how she was that night, how, was she in good spirits, step by step. We had a lovely evening. We sang happy birthday to her, and this happened at the house, and we had a few drinks, and she's like, I'm getting tired, I got church tomorrow. And the next, said, Mom or Nancy, whatever he calls her, I'll drive you home. We talked about this on the way home. She got out, and garage door opened, it shut, waved, said love you, bye. But he's been very quiet.
We're going to kind of weigh in here in relationship to why this would be significant. So the first question that comes to my mind is, if this is what was actually released to the panel, what do you think's going on here? Gary, we'll start with you.
Well, again,
I just feel like that they are going to be back at Mr. Daly's house.
make sure that it's very clear that there's no aspersion casting, and obviously in this, but just, that's why I'm hesitant to answer questions like that, because, but I to be honest with you, I don't feel comfortable to answer it, because I don't want to interpret what that would imply. But I think, what do you guys think? What does the group think? Yes, okay, Josh, go ahead.
I think that they were probably, obviously Annie and Tommaso know the area well. They drive the roads often, and so that could be one reason. Another reason is that sometimes you get some leakage from people that.
How much do you guys think it would cost for Nancy to drive over to Annie and Tommaso's? Like, how much would an Uber cost to drive just those few miles? I've ridden in an Uber once, I think, and it's whenever I was picking up my car from it being serviced, and we went maybe 2 or 3 miles, and it was like $20 or something with a tip.
It's they're the last people to be with Nancy, and you could get some leakage. That's just simple as that, really.
Right.
I didn't.
one thing that I get from this map now, if this map was released by Annie to the community to help with the search, help with the investigation, my question to her would be, are there particular spots, anchor points along this route that Nancy would frequently go? Because from that, I would take that into the investigation and I would do what I call a routine convergence analysis.
But like, if you're doing it for a birthday dinner as well, right? Like if Annie and Tommaso are hosting Nancy's birthday dinner, don't you think I wouldn't let that's just like even more reason, in my opinion, to not let my mother-in-law pay to come to her birthday dinner. I don't know. That's just me though. But everyone's different. Every family's different. How long, not how often. My bad. You're fine. $10, $20. It just depends on the area and the time. Rude they didn't pick up her mom. Yeah, Carol. I agree.
Right. And so I would look at what points along here on her normal day-to-day routine could she have interacted with the offender?
Thank you, Lori.
Did the offender meet her at the
baby.
market? Did he meet her at church? Did he meet her at, the local yoga class, whatever she did in life?
And again, I cannot get over because I feel very strongly about this part. I feel very strongly that at least Annie had access to those cameras. They cared for Nancy. There was cameras inside the home. If I couldn't get a hold of my mother-in-law, the first thing that I'm going to do is call. The second thing, if she doesn't answer, I'm going to look on those damn cameras inside. Because that's the whole point of having those cameras inside. Most likely, in my opinion, they watch her. She's 84 years old. Why are you not looking on those cameras on the inside? And if they didn't, that's going to I'm going to be very suspicious if I'm the FBI or Pima County. I am. I just couldn't, no way in hell that I would. How much camera footage and alerts were deleted from the inside nanny cams? Well, virtually all of it, AMG. Because the only footage that they had on the inside cameras allegedly was right before the cops showed up and when the cops were showing up. Maybe since she had been doing something earlier in the day on Saturday and Uber had been agreed upon so she could get ready at her own place. Maybe. And I'm thinking Google found more. Yeah, I think they got more video now. I believe she did, from what I understand. Nano said in an interview by a reporter asking the questions, and she was walked inside. That's what he said. That she, meaning Nancy, walked inside, was mom's cell phone scrubbed prior to Ellie arriving. Not that we're aware of. Obviously, the family isn't on the same page if they let her subscription lapse. I'd also want to know when it lapsed. Like, when's the last time? When did she last have a subscription? Did she ever have a subscription? And I've shown you guys this before. Nancy was asking about a camera maybe 5 years ago, wanting to view wildlife and stuff. Well, you probably want a subscription for that, right? Because if you're wanting to see the birds or the pigs or whatever that's out there, you're not always going to be able to just view them, live, if you will, from outside. You would want a subscription for that. So, if you missed the critters that you wanted to see. So it's just weird to me. But why would you go to the cameras if it was you that did it? Well, I'm not saying that they did it, though, looking behind. I'm saying if I didn't do it, that's the first thing that I would do. I would go look for my mother-in-law, right? If she's in the house, if she fell or whatever. If they didn't do that, I would be very sus of that. I think the subscription ran out before Christmas. Yeah, they give you like a little trial, and then you have to purchase it. I would use wildlife as an excuse if I wanted to see if anyone I knew was up to no good when I wasn't looking. So we don't know. True, but I do think Nancy, this was a actual ad recommendation that Nancy did ask about the wildlife. And if you go to just in October of last year, Savannah, she is there and they're at a Mexican restaurant. And she says she loves Tucson. She's like, I like the air and all of this. And then she said, I watched the javelin, is that what they're called, eat my flowers and they laugh. So I think she really did use it for wildlife. I really do. But you can use it for more than one thing, right?
And those are those would be things you'd want to look into for the investigation is, did this offender know Nancy? And if so, where did he meet her? So in that sense, maybe that's what she was getting at. This is part of this is a snapshot of Nancy's life. And if so, I'd want to elaborate on that and go deeper into that.
So
go ahead, Chris, please.
So your suggestion is, and I agree with you, that this is a pattern of life. That she would have said, yeah, my mom goes to bed.
You can, but hers were wireless, her Ring doorbell.
And this is the most logical route that she would go. Yeah, interesting thought. But I want to think through also your overlay here. The red is the overlay of that map I just showed, right?
Pretty close. It diverges just before it hits Oracle Road, but
okay, got it. So look at the other routes that Doug is proposing here and has explored here.
And that makes you wonder why, right? Locked and Loaded Nanos was pissed when the assessor answered question to the FBI. It just shows you he's not a good sheriff or not a good person, in my opinion.
And so
why?
The question would be, why would she choose the one in the middle?
Why would you choose the one in the middle?
And then apply it to
now this is interesting.
A suspect.
Well, now you're hesitant to answer. No, please go ahead.
I was going to say quickly, it just reinforces what I put here with the offender leaving the area. She identified Nancy's optimal route towards Oracle Road, which is the same optimal route that I identified with the offender. That's what I would say to that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Chris?
Fair enough. Go ahead, John.
Now, just before I go any farther, we're speculating that this was the route that supposedly Annie identified that the offender took after abducting her mom. Is that what I'm hearing here?
Well,
I don't know if that's what she meant by the map.
Oh, why would you assume any direction is my question. Well, to me, this seems a very peculiar.
Oh shit, I was muted. Sorry. I was saying congratulations, Sarah, on 48 years. The second thing I was saying is Luke. He lives just down the street, right? Just down the street. And he says he didn't know anything about Nancy's home or anything. So it makes me wonder, there's a lot of people that says Nancy or that Luke knew that neighborhood very well.
Peculiar.
No, that's a great question. I mean, I can answer from my perspective. So, you know, in part of when I do a profile like that, I mean, it's all about maximizing and allocating resources and efficiency, right? So if I was working this case, I would say, first and foremost, focus your resources on Route A. It's the most likely route out towards Oracle Road. And look for digital evidence, geofencing along Route A. If you get no returns, then go to Route B and C. So it's all about focusing and maximizing resources, efficiency, time, money, people.
Would there be equal numbers of cameras and so forth on all of those routes? Or would one of them be more precarious in terms of being picked up?
It's tough to say because, I mean, just from a
the problem with this neighborhood is the lots are very large, right? And all the houses are pushed back, and there's all kinds of cactus and shrubs and stuff in that area, so you don't really see a lot. Luke knew the neighborhood good because he was friends with Clay. Yes, open-minded. And again, I think that they will be back at Luke's. I do. 1,000. I do. Did she require a walker to assist her in walking? She required a cane. She required a cane. Oh, it's okay, Kelly. It's okay, baby. No worries. It happens. Did they use resources on Route A and look for digital evidence? Oh, God, I hope.
The signal camera, there's no signal cameras along that specific route, if those meant anything to this offender. But in terms of other types of surveillance, people, Nest cameras, it's hard to say what was the best route out in their mind.
Tricia, I agree. The FBI has not asked anyone to identify Porch Guy in months. I do believe they know who that is. And that also makes me think that there was just one person in that house as well, right? If there was two people in that house or more, let's say, why would they not show the other face? If they need, you know, if you have another face that was in that house that night and they don't know who these people are, then you're twice as likely to find out who one of them are, right? So that makes me believe that there is just one person that was in that house that night. I don't think there was more than one person that committed the actual crime. Now, it could be that someone helped dispose or someone paid this guy. And more could be involved. But if they're not on camera, that night, then they're going to have to solve the others, most likely by digital evidence, right? Via strange text that was being texted out to plan this or whatever. The silence tells the story, in my opinion. They know who is involved. I 1,000% believe they know who's involved. I think they're just waiting for all the evidence to come back, and I think that there will be arrest. Again, the FBI doesn't go in these. They don't do these warrants for nothing.
But what I don't understand, Doug, is why is the presumption that all routes are heading generally west? To me, it's as likely that they could have continued east.
100%. So the assumption would be, again, it would be, where do we go with this investigation right now? Where do we focus our resources? Because resources are finite, right? So it would be, okay, this offender is likely trying to get out of the area. To get out of the area, the fastest route is Oracle Road, which is north-south, and that's to the west. So let's look there first. But you're right, it could have been any direction. So if we don't have anything there, now let's look into other routes out of the area as well.
So this is perplexing because, not what you're saying, Doug.
That's a good question. That's a good question, Deb. I don't know. Zach, are you still in here? You still watching?
I'm just trying to process this map here on, why. Well, first of all, right. I mean, how many of us have handed an individual piece of paper and slid it across the table and said, "So, draw for me where you think this may have happened, or who may have gone what direction." Hey, and you usually don't end up with such a graph like this, where you can say, "Hey, my mom's salon's in here. You go this way, you go past the nail salon, you go to Bash's." Okay. And then, to John's point, you go, well, wait a minute, to your work here, you go, wait a minute. If everything is going north and then west, did Nancy never, ever go east in any way, shape, or form? Or perhaps maybe they just didn't press her enough on that. And when you add this to the conversation about the doors were propped open.
Okay, I mean, there has to be, right? There has to be footage of this vehicle in the area, of this man and Nancy's in the car somewhere, whether that's the back seat, the front seat, or most likely the trunk. They have to be somewhere. You can't be in Tucson and leave Nancy Guthrie's house and not be seen. Whether that's, stoplight cameras, business cameras, highway cameras, home camera, Ring doorbell cameras, CCTVs. Like, they had to leave out of there in a vehicle, right? This person's not going to get on a what's it called, a bike, and with Nancy on the back. So they have to have footage. Have to. You have to know the destination to make a map like that. What's at the end? Where does she end the route? And that's another thing. This was, I think we can all agree, Mary, thank you so much for your gift, my darling. Really, really do appreciate your support, my love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much. Now, there has to be like some footage. And this was obviously very much planned. Very much planned, which means they already knew the route that they were taking. And they're probably going to go the route with the least amount of cameras, if possible, because to plan taking Nancy, if that was the ultimate goal, which I believe that was the ultimate goal, was to do something with Nancy. They had to have it planned turn by turn where the goal was to take her, right? Whether that was to take her to a home or, you know, a grave that was already dug, or, you know, if there's water around anywhere or something. Most probably it was somewhere, you know, in the desert with the least amount of cameras. The FBI would never let T go to Italy if he was a suspect, or let it go. Well, I don't know if or this long with them under nose to complete embarrassment. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Until they name a suspect, if you're not, you know, you're free to go wherever you want. You're free to go wherever you want in the United States, you know, if you're an American citizen. Thanks, Tucson. Good to see you, honey. They can't stop him, no evidence, or charge him. Yeah, I agree.
You know, this is your fault, honey, you know, i.e., it's a kidnap for ransom. And we don't know when that first phone call occurred between Cameron and anybody. You know, I don't think Cameron just pulled that off out of the cloud, personally. I think there was a pre-incident conversation or post-incident incident conversation that he said, you know, what? And then Savannah called him and he just regurgitated that information.
So do you think that at that point, though, that they were aware?
The FBI hasn't cleared anybody. The FBI doesn't clear anybody. He said Pima County cleared him, but that's also what he said. He said Pima County cleared me, but he said FBI said if they needed anything, they'll let me know.
That this could have been a kidnapping for
But again,
ransom.
you got to believe him.
What he said, because it would be odd for him to just kind of bring that up without any sort of information of there being a ransom.
Well, here's I'm going to throw a curveball at the panel.
Oh, really? Tommaso's got poetry too? Oh, Lord. I thought the FBI hasn't cleared it. The FBI doesn't clear anybody until there's an arrest. They never do.
You guys know how I operate.
All right.
Remember, they impounded a car. And she knew it.
That's a good point.
What if the telematics data is going to overlay?
Listen to this. This is very interesting. Bumble, right up here, but I want to read this first. Bumble says, I still think it was a strong arm robbery that went very wrong, and they didn't get from Nancy what they wanted. I mean, see, I'm not sure about that. I don't think they were there to get anything other than Nancy. They didn't take anything. Listen, if it comes to your life and someone wanting something in your house, you're going to give it to them. You're not going to say, oh, you have a GUN. You know, I've seen better or whatever. you're going to give them whatever they want. I don't think Savannah knows anything, not directly, but maybe not directly. But her interview gave me the impression she knew something bad happened besides kidnapping. I don't know. It gave me off, but gut feeling. I think Savannah is just really very protective of her family. You know what I mean? I don't think Nancy had anything to get that was a modest home by today's standards. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Nancy wasn't rich. She wasn't rich. I mean, like I said, like there is plenty of, bigger, more expensive places in Tucson. So what? This isn't get anything, so they decided to take a lady near death and nothing else from the house. Yeah, the goal was Nancy. $800,000 is a middle class area. Yeah.
On this map. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I didn't think of that. Would the police?
What do you say?
What they impounded a car?
Look at here.
And she knew it.
That's a good point.
What if the telematics data is going to overlay on this map? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I didn't think of that.
What does he mean? Hold on.
That information. And then an incident conversation that he said, what? And then Savannah called him and he just regurgitated that information.
So do you think that at that point, though, that they were aware that this could have been a kidnapping for ransom? And that's what he said? Because it would be odd for him to just kind of bring that up without any sort of information of there being a ransom.
Well, here's I'm going to throw a curveball at the panel. Okay. You guys know how I operate.
All right.
Remember, they impounded a car. And she knew it.
That's a good point.
By she, does he mean Annie? Or, Savannah?
What if the telematics data is going to overlay on this map? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I didn't think of that. Would the police act? I mean, you guys were detectives. You guys are detectives. Wouldn't you ask the route that would be the easiest from somebody who was there with her last? And then when you get the telematics back, you would overlay it. See if it matches.
John, Bob, Gary.
This whole case is about there's a simple road that gets you from thought A to thought B, but you're being made to think that you have to take elaborate routes to get to the truth. It's
Andy and Tommaso's home.
It's a metaphor for the whole case that it's probably Occam's razor, simpler than it looks. And without getting, whatever that means. But the point is that I just think it's simpler than it looks. And this whole thing, it feels like a kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It seems to match that in my mind. You guys get what I'm saying? It's probably a straighter road.
Well, and Doug's an expert at geoprofiling. And here we have a situation as simple as, to your point, Gary, as simple as, this is the route, and I'm just gonna put it on a Facebook group, hypothetically. Okay. And this is the route. And then all of a sudden you realize you're sitting across from somebody who has your car, and
Dreamcatcher. Yeah. It came a big storm here today as well. Let's see here. Simpler than it looks. Yeah. Yes, TC writes poetry in Italian. I mean, it has to be this has to, like, again, this has to be, in my opinion, someone Nancy knows, right? Someone that wanted her most likely dead. It has to be, in my opinion, related to family, friends, or service workers. Keep in mind, as far as I've heard, we don't know that the bed making episode of today's show was actually Nancy's bedroom. It was. There are 3 hours in house and 1 in could have used for an episode. From what I understand, it was her bedroom. Justin, what are the addresses? It depends on the time of day, distance. Do you mean the addresses for Annie and Tommaso's, or dailies, or what do you mean? Oh, no footage on the route. That's definitely a perplexity. Who benefits the most? I have my own opinion. But it doesn't necessarily have to benefit. Now, a lot of times it does. But sometimes you just hate someone, right? Sometimes someone just hates someone enough for whatever reason that they would rather them be dead than alive. You know, I mean, one thing that's kind of always strikes me is, they were making a lot of mortgage payments. They seemed to have a lot of money
in custody, for lack of a better term. And this would, I would love to have this graph
cute to hate
that Doug put together and slide it over and say, well, let's talk about these routes. Why do you think
I agree
the suspect wouldn't have taken this route, up here, exit route yellow, or the green route? Why? What is it about the red route that jumps out at us?
Well, do you think the proper response would be, I have no idea?
No, that would be a reasonable response. How would I know how they got out? Where is Annie and Tommaso's house on this map?
Well, but that's what if somebody would have asked me that, I go,
it does. But where does hate stem from? It can be, that, for instance, and I'm not saying this is what happened or anything, but it could be that Nancy was very critical always of Tommaso, felt like he wasn't, I'm just giving examples here, that he wasn't a good enough provider, that he wasn't good enough for their daughter, didn't provide enough, was using her or whatever, and that can create, a hate. It can be money related as well. But again, I just don't think that Nancy, 84 years old, would have a lot of people hating her. You know what I mean? I mean, most people don't hate 84-year-olds. You know what I mean? You give a lot more grace to someone that's, disabled and, can barely make it to the mailbox. Right? So, I mean, who's going to hate an 84-year-old to unalive them? Oh, was there a troll in here?
How the hell am I supposed to know?
So I'm still in the dark. You guys know I'm a simple-minded guy, and it takes me a little bit to comprehend some things.
Tell me another.
Why did she release? Why did she release this map? I still don't understand why she put this out. Annie,
Sure.
that is. Do we know?
Absolutely.
In response to what's the context?
I heard that this was given to a neighbor of hers from her, and that the neighbor put it out online. That's what I've heard.
Okay, so Annie actually didn't put it out. It's a third party put it out.
Correct. From what
Okay,
I've
so this might all be completely speculative.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Exactly. But even if it's
Because it was on the internet, it must be true.
But it's still a metaphor.
So let's go to the next slide.
I agree.
Doug, what do we got going here?
Oh, this is just if this individual, if this was a homicide from the get-go, I think this individual would have gone out of the area into rural territory pretty quick. Rural land.
I agree.
Isolated land pretty quick. It could have been along that route north, or it could have been just along some back road out of the community. But I don't think they would have gone down into Tucson.
They're either when they took Nancy out of there, they're either going to go somewhere very, very close and put her either permanently or temporarily, or they're, like this guy said, they're going to go way out in the desert somewhere where there's not a lot of cameras, where they can't, there's the cameras aren't on them.
So it's just, worst case scenario if that's what happened from the get-go.
Oh, and sorry, but in the chat, and this does make sense, that the reason possibly for the map is for neighbors to check their cameras along those routes.
Cameras, yeah, they would have checked gas stations along that route because that would have been the quickest route.
Right. But the police have already done that.
Right. You don't have to pay for it. Depends on what cameras, how long you want it saved and all that. So it just depends if she lived coming out of there. Yeah, I don't think if Nancy was alive when she left there, I don't believe she was alive very long at all.
Actually, from what I remember, that they didn't ask for camera footage from neighbors for a little while after the crime had already occurred.
But they did an extensive canvass in that entire neighborhood looking for footage from all
And
the
that's where that setback from the road really comes in. That's really tough with that
What
setback.
I'm saying is, I don't think, from what I remember, that it didn't happen right away. That the canvassing for camera footage didn't happen immediately.
Right.
Because they put out a
something
statement
interesting.
asking if anybody had any footage that they could turn over, but that didn't happen right away.
Well, but it was twofold from the very beginning. Once the FBI got involved.
Have y'all seen this? Someone just sent this to me. This is from Derek, about Derek Catalina, the one that was arrested. And it says the following: the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, United States of America versus Derek Catalina. Nancy Guthrie was last seen inside her residence in the Catalina Foothill community outside Tucson, Arizona on January 31st, 2026. Now, get this. So that says something big right there. This is the Federal Bureau of Investigation saying that Nancy Guthrie was seen inside her residence. Yeah, this is the fake Bitcoin guy. Yes. Nancy Guthrie was 84 years old woman with mobility issues that likely preluded her from walking long distances unassisted. On the morning of February 1st, 2026, a friend of Nancy Guthrie's contacted the victim's family and notified them that Nancy Guthrie had not attended church that morning. At approximately noon on February 1, 2026, Nancy Guthrie's family entered her residence and determined that she was missing and reported her disappearance to law enforcement. Law enforcement arrived shortly thereafter and determined that Nancy Guthrie had left basic essentials inside her home, including her walker, car, cell phone, hearing aid, and medication. Nancy Guthrie's blood was found on the outside of her residence near the porch. On February 2nd, 2026, KOLD, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, Arizona, received a ransom demand via their online tip portal. The demand listed a Bitcoin wallet address to receive the ransom payment. On February 4, 2026, Nancy Guthrie's family published a video asking Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper to contact them about their mother. Excuse me. Okay. Counts 1 and 2. On or about February 4th, 2026, shortly after the video was published, AC and TC, the daughter and the son-in-law of Nancy Guthrie, both separately received a text message from the following phone number, redacted 0552, stating, quote, "Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction," end quote. AC and TC received the text while in Arizona. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the number ending in 0552 number was associated with a voice over internet protocol, which is a voice number, or did I say wall? Did it say wallet or did I say walker? I can't remember. A VoIP number, which is like a Google number or whatever. Text and call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by their wireless carrier. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request for the 0552 number based on the records provided for the 0552 number was registered to the following email address, redacted.com. The records also indicated that the 0552 number had been, what does that say? I think it says, I don't know if it says accused or asserted from the following IP address, redacted 103 IP address at approximately 6:02 p.m. on February 4, 2026. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request for the internet provider for the 103 IP address and determined that the 103 IP address was associated with a Catalina residence in California. Kaela's residence in California. Okay. Number 2. It's a little blurry. Excuse me. Compliance statements of facts constituting the offense or violation. On or about February 4, 2026, defendant Derek Kaela, with the intent to transmit a demand for ransom, did transmit in interstate or foreign commerce any communication containing, God, it's so blurry, I can't see, any demand or request for the ransom or reward for the release of any kidnapping persons is violation in Title 18 U.S.C. 875A. Count 2, on or about February 4th, 2026, defendant Derek Kaela in interstate or foreign communication made a telephone call that utilized a telecommunication device, whether or not conversation or communication, I don't know if it's existed or inserted, without disclosing his identity and with, I don't know what that word is there, to abuse, threaten, or harass any specific person in violation of Title 47 U.S.C. 223A1C. Based upon the complainant charges against the accused, continue to pages 2 through 3, dated February 5th, 2026. Not the ransom demand amount. Yeah. It's he has been charged for allegedly scamming before in the past, by the way. Hold on, let me look at something right here because there might be some more documents that drop. Let me look at this. This is federal, so the FBI, you're more likely to get something. Let me see if there's anything else that's dropped. Case files. One second, guys. Is there anything else? Here, let's look. Give me a second. Damn, there's a lot here. They won't give anything out because they've been People Magazine Satellite of Nancy Guthrie. What's this? Okay. Rumors corrections by Pima County Sheriff's Department. What's that? Also Saturday, January 31st. Let me look at this real quick. Damn. Also Saturday, January 31st, between 9:30 and 11, suspicious vehicle on Via Entrada. Is that how you pronounce it? Around 10 a.m. Please check your recordings before they are overwritten. Footage. Do you guys remember this? They were asking about this specific vehicle. Because it's Bitcoin is all shady to me. I know a few friends who got like 15 years ago, but other than that, yeah, I don't do the Bitcoins or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. However, they had probable cause signed by a judge to go after him. Are you talking about Daly or Carlos? Isn't that what most people who continue to go out to Nancy Guthrie's house are in the way doing a protest? They might be thinking the sheriff could do more. So by being there, they're out there showing they are not agreeing. Perhaps. Hold on one second. Update. This was critical update. Endangering missing persons. If you received an alert, the Pima County Sheriff's Department urging you seen at a residence on East Skyline Drive. I need to go back through all of this stuff that they released. New timeline for Nancy Guthrie request. Investigators are now requesting video footage from January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight regarding the Nancy Guthrie case. Also, Saturday, January 31st between 9:30 and 11. Suspicious vehicle on Via Entrada around 10 a.m. Yeah, they got to know who this is. They got to know who this is now. But email messages are traceable. Not all. Not all. If you use a Proton account, for instance, they're not traceable. Even Proton email employees can't see who it is. It's that encrypted. Look at this. This is the area that they wanted you to look at right here. All in this area. Let's go. Let me go back to Chris's video because I want to see something. I want to overlay this. Give me a second here. Yep. North Placita. Okay, let's look at this 1 second. Give me a second here. $130. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to do some overlays with that. Yeah, they have to be. They have said that they want to keep the public's attention on the case. Or I don't think Tommaso or Anti drove a white Kia. I don't understand why they would send money to A&T first. It's a weird thing. What was the message again? Let me read it. That part. They were requesting, they sent the message, did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. I don't think that they were, when they say, when you got the Bitcoin, or did you get the Bitcoin yet? I don't think that they were asking, like they were sending it to Annie and Tommaso. I think they were asking Annie and Tommaso, did you get the Bitcoin so you can like send it to us? You know what I mean? 720 likes. Come on, guys, hit the thumbs up if you haven't yet. Greatly appreciate you guys. We get to 1,000. We have a chicken party. Love you, Don. Good to see you. Political gambling through Kashi. That's why stated press charges March federal first. No, I don't think this has to do with anything political, especially nationally. She is Linda, yeah. I heard that they were always asking Nancy for money. I've heard that as well. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they don't really make a lot of money from what I understand. Okay. Oh, shit. Where'd that go? Let me check this. 5:32, Nancy goes to local family's home. Between the 11th at 9 o'clock p.m. and midnight regarding Nancy Guthrie case. And it's very interesting because the 11th, January 11th, they want it between 9 p.m. and midnight. That's a 3-hour window. Also, Saturday, January 31st. Hold on a second. This is interesting. Listen to this. I just thought about this. Hold on. What time did Nancy get home? She got home at 9:48, 9:50. Okay. Nancy got home about 9:48. The 31st, they're asking for 9:30, between 9:30 and 11. This is fucking weird, guys. Think about this. Okay, look at this. They were asking on January 31st between 9:30 and 11 p.m. Right? Nancy gets home. Holy shit. Nancy gets home at 9:48. Nancy gets home at 9:48. And this weird vehicle, sorry, this is 9:30 and 11 a.m., sorry. 9:30 and 11 a.m. Suspicious vehicle on Via Entrada around 10 a.m. Is this, I guess it's a.m., between 9:30 and 11 a.m. Or is this p.m.? "9:48 is when the garage door opened," don't mean that's when they got home. Did these guys go back for something? Hold on. Let me look at this timeline again and see. Because hold on, I'm doing some brain work here. On Saturday, January 31st, between 9:30 and 11, I'm guessing a.m., suspicious vehicle enters Entrada around. Nancy's not missing yet, right? This is earlier in the day. But January 11th from 9 p.m. and midnight regarding the Nancy Guthrie case. Also Saturday, January 31st between 9:30 and 11. I guess they mean a.m. because suspicious vehicle on Via Entrada around 10 a.m. I wonder what Nancy was doing, around 10 a.m. that day. Medications are also coming in from Mexico from the elderly at cheaper prices as well. Absolutely. Who was the neighbor that they asked of she had a pacemaker in the garage? I don't know what you mean by that one. 9:48 is when the garage door opened, doesn't mean. Okay, I read that one. Okay. 11th was PM and the other one not specified. I'm assuming that it's AM because in parentheses it says because the suspicious vehicle on Via Entrada around 10 a.m. Now think about that. Like if there's a suspicious vehicle watching at 9 or at 10 a.m. And that means they've got to be watching Nancy earlier. How did they know she was going to go to dinner that day? How did they know she was going to go to dinner that day? Would it have mattered if she went to dinner that day? Like, let's say Nancy didn't go to dinner. Well, they could have still went in the house and unalived her. Yeah. But, I was thinking if this was PM, 9:30 and 11 PM, then this would have been like right after Nancy was dropped off. But I don't think it is. Was she with the friend at 10 a.m.? No, this is Saturday, the 31st. Okay. January 30th in the afternoon, Nancy Guthrie hosts friends at her home for that mahjong or game or whatever. During the visit, Nancy confirmed plans with her friend Anne to attend their regular Sunday church streaming gathering scheduled for February 1st, 2026. The group routinely met with friends home on a recorded live stream of the New York church services around Nancy's daughter, Savannah Guthrie. Friends later described Nancy as alert, engaging, and particularly participating normally during the gathering. Let me look at something. On February 2nd, let's see here, law enforcement conducted repeat hospital checks. On February 5th, 2026, 11:15 a.m., Chris Thanos, Sheriff of Pima County, is scheduled to conduct a briefing regarding the investigation. DNA from the porch, blood rush for testing, DNA result returns matching Nancy. Additional items submitted for lab testing. Results pending. House proceeded for biological evidence, process for biological evidence. No additional DNA results returned at the time of the press conference. Doorbell camera reported removed. Camera not in law enforcement's possession. Camera not located. Vehicle at residence processed as part of the search warrant and scene processing. Uber driver located and interviewed after investigators learned Nancy used an Uber to travel to family residence for dinner. Now, I want to know, when did law enforcement know that she took an Uber? Were they not told until the 5th, or were they told much sooner and they just told us the 5th? Pharmacies contacted regarding Nancy's medications. Law enforcement conducted repeated hospital checks. Deputies physically checked hospitals and logs. Officials state Nancy required daily medication. Officials stated missing medication for multiple days could be fatal. The FBI stated that they are in communication with the family. 2:49 p.m. on February 5th, the FBI is offering a reward for $50,000 connected to her disappearance. And then the 6th is whenever they started with the ransom letters. I wish they would say if they found a journal, only a person or two would known to remove that before calling LE. Like if Nancy had a journal, yeah. How does Nancy travel to her friend's home to watch church service? Great question. I guess she would just drive. I think they knew she was going to A&T's, and that's part of the whole deception plan. Very much could be. The response to whereabouts of the Bitcoin email to A&T came so long after the initial demand was sent to TMZ. Yeah, I think Nancy drives like during the day as long as like she's not drinking and it's not nighttime, like coming back. I think they do too. They have to. They have to have more footage, in my opinion. They really have to. Okay. All right. Let me. How long have I been on here? Okay, I still got a little bit of time. All right. Let me show you guys. Well, let me just finish this part right here where Chris is talking, because I want to make another point up here.
Could have been that route. It could have been any side route up into the mountains, wherever. But if it was a homicide, right from ground zero, right from her house, then
yeah, but they did it at the friend's house.
Dispose
her friend's house
of her pretty quick. So that's just that'd be another. You'd want to look into the kidnapping scenario and where would he take her for that. But also, if it wasn't a kidnapping and he was disposing of her, where would he go for that? So,
well, my understanding is that, I mean, from what I was reading, and
that's very interesting.
It will be incorrect, but my understanding is that it's not uncommon for people to leave bodies in that particular desert.
Right.
I suppose the idea being that the elements will do the work of eliminating the remains. In those situations, I mean, I can't find any literature on it. I guess it's just something you guys would know from experience, especially you, John, because you said you worked.
I mean, I don't think Nancy's journal is going to say she's going to get kidnapped, Sam, but I think it could say if she was experiencing, trouble in the family, or, trouble from someone she loaned, I loaned this person money. They called today and they, talked bad to me or whatever.
In a desert area, whatever. But is there much left of a person when that's the situation, or do you usually wind up with a no body scenario?
Correct.
When on the occasions in the desert, there could actually be remains there.
The affidavit, though, that you just saw there, the probable cause, Sue says, Justin, we still don't know if Nancy ever really came home at 9:48 when the garage door supposedly opened and then closed 2 minutes later. We have T and S's word to go on. Yes, that is true. However, if you just seen the probable cause from the FBI there, it says that Nancy was last seen inside her home. So I do believe she made it back home alive. And I don't believe the blood was planted. I think she made it back home alive. Again, there could have been, regardless, this was planned, right? Because someone was there the 11th. This guy was there the 11th. And that tells you, for instance, if T and A potentially, allegedly, perhaps had this planned, then that means they don't want something to happen to her in their house. They want to make sure, oh, we had a great evening out. She came over, we had a birthday dinner, dropped her off, no problem. So made sure she got in the doorway, and something happened a few hours later.
Tends to be predation, from particularly coyotes, and I believe that there are wild pigs out there, what they call javelinas, and they'll eat human flesh.
Pigs.
So yes, you're assuming that both the weather, the environment, and the animals will dispose of the corpse. I guess the other thing is that, and I've said this before, I believe that the whole purpose of this was to commit a homicide. That was the ultimate result. There may be cul-de-sac that come off the sides as far as other actions, which means they had already identified the body dump location in advance.
Bingo.
Right, but
Bingo.
but the problem with the homicide idea, and I agree with you, but the problem with it is that if the motive is financial, not having a body, long delays being able to acquire any. I mean, if the suggestion is somebody who would be,
It's possible, but I don't think it's probable. I think it's just one guy there now.
could potentially collect money, there would be a long delay in doing that, would there not?
Exactly,
Yeah.
but the problem also is no proof of life for the kidnapping.
Right. So financially, it wouldn't be a very smart thing to do.
I
It
agree.
argues more in favor of that it was supposed to be an abduction for money that went south.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, think about this. Like, you know, we always say money, and that's a good point. Like, but if, you know, T or A did this for money, it takes a long time to get that money. And if you're desperate for money,
Than an overt, you know, you get where I'm going with that, because
I do, and
without-
I just tend, until I have more information, I'm going to look at this from your book, Gary, as an elimination murder.
That's what I.
And if you haven't read his book, you have any interest in true
eliminate
crime, you need to. So I just pimped your book, but I mean, that's to me what it looks like until I get more information.
I
Right.
just
Well, yeah, but go ahead, please. Go ahead, Josh.
So let's go back to the geofence slide here for a minute. And Doug, explain to the audience, and thank you everybody for being here this evening. We got about 8,400 people here right now, and we're grateful for that. So if you can all hit that thumbs up and
the javelina
subscribe buttons and go over to
Nancy said, she said javelina a very specific way. She didn't say, I don't think she said javelina, but she said it a little different.
Doug's
Pronounced
channel,
it.
which is listed below in the notes, as well as Josh's, and you know, support these guys. That would be grateful. And of course, go buy John's books and Gary's books, because that helps.
Warrant. And a reverse warrant just means after the fact. So a geofence warrant is you're identifying an area with a polygon, so GPS coordinates. And what you're doing is you're asking for
Yes,
all
that's what it
mobile
was.
devices.
That's what it was. Javelina. Yes, I remember that, Jacqueline. She called him Javelina.
That were within that specified area.
They're cute little
So
pigs.
in a case like this, you know, the first one would likely be the street that Nancy lived on.
You know, that's a good point, Ratui. That's a very good point. You know, what does Carlos do, right? He delivers stuff. He delivers stuff. He could be a runner. Yep. He could be a deliverer. I think this has to do with rugs. But like, I mean, not Nancy being involved in rugs, right? The way that because Carla picked up a package or dropped a package off around the corner from Nancy's. That's why he was picked up. A mule. I don't know. Hard to believe at the times that the same people who took her were the same who requested. They are in the rat family, not the pig family. Really? The javelina are? They're in the rat family? They look like swine to me. Seriously? They look like little Pumbas or Timon and Pumbaa.
Now, what I mean, and John and Bob are more than welcome to jump in. So with a geofence warrant, what you want to do is, for privacy issues, you want to do your best to make it.
I think, it doesn't take much to drive. You know what I mean? You got to be able to get out of the car and walk inside a store or a house. I think she had some, just like all of us, no matter your age, you have better days than others. In my opinion, the Derek C call to A&T is still sus. Yeah. They eat plants. They're rodents? Really? The little pig-like animals in Arizona, they're called javelinas. They are also officially known as what? Hold on. They're also known as collared peccaries. While they look remarkably like wild pigs, javelinas belong to an entirely different family of hoofed mammals called pecarinas, which are native only to the Americas. Here are quick facts about them. The babies, young javelinas, are often called reds because of the bright red or tan fur. The scent. They have a scent gland on the back that produces a strong, musky odor. Diet. They are chiefly vegetarian and love to eat prickly pear cactus, often shredding the spines with their sharp teeth. They have very poor vision but excellent sense of smell. They travel in tight-knitted herds, sometimes called squadrons, that likely range from a few to more than 20. Oh, damn, that's a mean one. I like the way they walk. Look at there. They're from pretty much all of South America, Mexico, and the Americas. I like the way they prance. An animal defends its space. Okay. Javelinas and pigs have been separated for almost 40 million years of evolution. They are also known as a collared peccary because of their lighter ring hair around their necks and shoulders. Peccaries can live in large family groups, though young males sometimes travel around. Humans can often sense if javelinas have been close by because of they stink. Javelinas are quite ripe, but for good reason. They emit musk from their glands near their rear. How about that? Does anyone remember hearing the packs of coyotes when the streamers? Yes. There's those other ones. They're a big giant rodent. Yes. Peccaries is even better. Yes. What a large peccary, I might add. What a large, look at the little peccary. Look at the big peccary. We have mama peccary, dad peccary. And that's where perfume comes from. Oh, yeah, there was some. Yes. Where does your perfume come from? From a peccary's ass. That's where it comes from. Mm-hmm. You paid $300 for that peccary anus? Okay, I'm done for the night. I've been here 3 hours. I need to call it a night. I'm talking about peccaries now. Oh, look at his eyes. Yeah. In my opinion, LD and criminal nanos could be. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I don't get down with the conspiracies. It's generally, like Dr. Gary said, Occam's razor. It's a giant pack of pickled peccaries. Say that fast. Yeah. Love you guys too. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will be here tomorrow at some point, talking about Nancy's case, and I'm going to try to do 2 lives tomorrow. Hopefully. Mohawk is very intelligent. Very, very intelligent. So do they smell like a skunk? Now, those, you can smell them before you see them. Yes. Yes, you can. You sure can. Oh, what happened to my fucking game? Can y'all see me? Okay. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. Much love, everyone. I will see you guys, Lord willing, tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Good night, everyone. God bless.